Hey everybody, it's Rick Silva, President and Founder of B2B Gathering. Thanks for being on the webinar. This is part 8 in the Science of Business Networking series. So today we're going to talk about cold calling, and then my ultimate goal is to get you out of cold calling. But if you do pick up the phone and make phone calls, not only will we help you get more business, set more appointments, but ultimately get out of doing it altogether. But for today, we'll talk about how to set appointments primarily, and then also how to get the decision maker on the phone. That's what we're going to talk about mostly today. These skills are necessary even if you don't cold call, because I'm going to give you some things that I haven't taught. I rarely, if ever, teach in seminars, only on the home study course. So I teach this course on cold calling and a whole bunch of stuff that I did over the years to get decision makers on the phone. So let's get started. This is part 8. Cold calling. In the past, now this is between 1998 and 2001, 2002, somewhere in there, I made over 15,000 cold calls, earned millions of dollars in commissions from these calls. I'm only going to teach you techniques today that I've done anywhere from between 100 and 1,000 times. These aren't things I just read in a book and decided to pass on to you. These are things I learned in seminars, books, tapes, and then tried them and found what does work and doesn't work for me. Now, will all of this work for you? No. At least I know for sure it worked for me. Okay? So first, let's do a little recap. Last webinar was about testimonials, a little info about testimonials. When building a referral-based business, testimonials are one of the most important components. If used properly, and the right time, you rarely, if ever, need to close. A testimonial is a third-party endorsement of you, your company, or your product or services worded in a particular way for a specifically desired outcome. Now, keep in mind, this is just touching on last week's webinar testimonials, so we're not going into great detail in any of this. Why should you have and use testimonials? They build credibility quicker. They shorten the sales cycle. They position you as an expert in your desired field. They are used to overcome almost all objections. They're used to close sales. Phil asked me, what business was I in when I made all those cold calls? I was an executive level recruiter. So I helped people find pretty high-end jobs in one of the companies I worked at for that. I started a recruiting firm in '98, and then in 2000, 2001, I was with Cisco Systems. So let's talk about cold calling. My least favorite and my most favorite subject, you'll find out of all 12 webinars, I think I have the most fun with this one. Don't pick up the phone. I don't look for business, but I'm real good on the phone because of the skills that I gained through making cold calls for so long. So we're going to get into cold calling now. Now, I don't want you to make a career of cold calling. I'd like you to completely eliminate the need for them in 1 year or less in your business. That would be my goal for you. There's 4 ways to build your business. In the upper left-hand corner of the 4 quadrants is cold calling. And I think I put my definition of what cold calling is, in my opinion. My 4-word definition is a waste of time. It's the quickest way to make sales but uses the least leverage. It's generally a waste of time and is stressful. This is the #1 distinction that I teach when you're picking up the phone and you're making cold calls. People say I cold call, and I'm going to ask you a question. If those of you that are on the webinar right now, if you cold call, I'm going to ask you a question. Why are you picking up the phone? I want you to really, honestly, this is not a trick question. If you're cold calling companies, you got to ask yourself, why are you picking up the phone? Now, most people go, duh, to make a sale, and my response is it really? You have maybe a high-level business. Maybe you sell insurance, commercial real estate, residential real estate, you're selling a product, software, something like that. Do you not need to first set an appointment? Then you need to do a needs analysis. Then you need to write a proposal. Then you turn in the proposal and you do some negotiating, and then after that you make the sale. So yes, you are picking up the phone to ultimately make a sale, but you are not picking up the appointment, the phone, I mean, the first time to make a sale. It's generally to gather information or to set an appointment or to at least get the decision maker on the phone, and that's what I am really, really, really good at, and you're going to find this out shortly. So let me put this on the screen for you to take a look at. Are you calling to make a sale, set an appointment, introduce yourself to gather information? Generally, it's the bottom 3, and it's not the top one, generally. So if you pick up the phone, I want you to ask why. Why are you picking up? You must track your calls. I don't care where, well, first off, where are you getting the names and numbers of the people you're calling? That's the first thing. And then we want to see how that's returning, especially if you're paying for your lists. So these are the things that I used to track when I cold called, okay? The day of the week. Now, if you have a certain time, now let's be very clear today also. I didn't clear this up. Let me clear it up now. When I say cold call, I'm talking about picking up the phone. There's also something called premising. Premising is also cold calling. Cold calling is picking up the phone. Premising is going to an office building and knocking on all the doors, or going, working a street and going to all the offices and knocking on the door. I call that premising, P-R-E-M-A-C-E, premise. Premising. So you're cold calling on the phone, you're premising. We're covering the phone today. Today we're covering what we do on the phone. So just so we're clear, we're covering cold calling on the phone. These are the types of things that I recommend that you track. Day of the week. So I used to know the best day of the week, the time of the day, the week of the month to pick up the phone to get the most people to answer the phone, because there's a chance that a Monday at 2 you can get 5 times more people on the phone than you can a Wednesday at 9, but you won't know in your industry unless you track it. So it's very important that you track when people actually answer the phone. I want to talk about handling rejection. Especially if you cold call, you better be wearing a leather platinum jacket. Fend off all the negativity. So let's talk about the Zig Ziglar technique I learned years ago to help me handle the rejection of when I used to cold call. So I just want you to take a look at this scenario here. You make 50 cold calls, you set 8 appointments, and you make 2 sales. That's great. You made 50 calls, you set 8 appointments, and you made 2 sales. You earned $5,000 in commissions from these 2 sales. Now what you'll do is, I blew the punchline there, but we'll take it off real quick and just go to it in a second. The question is, how many times were you rejected? How many times were you rejected? And we'll go like that. There we go. So you made 50 cold calls, you set 8 appointments, you made 2 sales, you earned 5,000 commissions. How many times were you rejected? Some say 42. They were rejected 42 times because they set 8 appointments. The correct answer is you were rejected 48 times because you only made 2 sales. You earned $5,000. If you divide the 5,000 by 48, you made $104.17 per no. So I was taught in my younger days not to count the yeses, count the no's. I learned that from Zig Ziglar. I was in my 20s. You made 50 calls, set 8 appointments, you made 2 sales. You were rejected 48 times. This divided by this, you made $104. You should be thrilled when someone says no. Look how much money you make. Most people, they get a no and they want to leave the business. 2 no's and this is too hard. Sales isn't for me. They're just not wired to handle the no's. So this is just something you can use to feel better. Now there's some businesses where you might have to make 1,000 cold calls to make a sale, but that sale lends to thousands and thousands and thousands of commissions. So it just depends on what you do, but $104 per no is pretty good. That's called the getting paid for a no technique. Tools for cold calling, let's just get them all on the screen here. I highly recommend you have a mirror. I defy you to look at yourself in the mirror and frown. It's very difficult. So if you have a mirror by your computer screen, you're going to want a stopwatch. Just looking at the stopwatch causes you not to ramble. You want to have scripts. If you pick up the phone without scripts, wow. I'll come into your office and I'll double your income just with scripts if you're not using scripts. A tape recorder, not so you could tape record the other person because that's not legal. But you can put a tape recorder down on the table and tape record yourself so you can hear yourself later and be unbelievably embarrassed. And then stand as often as you can when making your calls. It extends the lungs. You can breathe easier. The blood flows better. Everything's better when you stand. I probably stand 65 to 70% of the time that I'm doing these webinars for you. I'm standing now, and it does help. Now, finding names to call. Just this screen is literally an all day webinar. But finding names of people to cold call, you can get names through word of mouth. You can buy mail lists. trade associations. You find them on the internet. If you specialize in real estate, for instance, you could find thousands of real estate agents to call. Through speaking, you could do a ton of lead generating through speaking and trade show tables, and you could be cold calling. You do a seminar and a trade show a month, and you wouldn't be able to handle the cold calls from that. From the internet, or you can purchase lists. For me, the best thing for me when I was a recruiter was the internet. I could teach lead generating on the internet all day, but you do need to figure out where you're going to get these numbers to call. Now, let's start getting into what to say on the phone to actually get somewhere, okay? We have all of our tools, we have our scripts, and now we need to get past the dreaded gatekeeper. Keep in mind, the gatekeeper's job is to keep you from getting to the decision maker. Your job is to get past the gatekeeper to get to the decision maker. Now, what we're going to do for the next half an hour or so is I'm just going to start throwing idea after idea after idea on how to get to the decision maker and then how to set the appointment. I'm going to teach you how to get around the gatekeeper, avoid the gatekeeper, get the decision maker. This isn't in any particular specific order. Just take the ones you like and try them. So this is one way to get to the decision maker. Okay, so in this case, we have the decision maker's name. So the gatekeeper answers the phone and says, "Hi, XYZ company." And this is what most people say. Most people talk themselves out of the cold call and talk themselves out of getting anywhere. Let's say I sell a software product to dentists. And I call, and the gatekeeper answers. I say, "Hi, my name is Rick with XYZ company. I'm calling to talk to the dentist today about a brand new software product that will help him blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah." And the gatekeeper goes, either they're not in, send me information, or they're not interested. So he's not here, he's busy. Send me information, or we're not interested. Now, the techniques I'm going to teach you, I never said they work every time. But one thing I will tell you is to never tell people what you do. That's the quickest way to get hung up on. Here's the third-party endorsement technique. You see it on the screen. The third-party endorsement technique. I'm calling for the dentist or forever, whoever it is for you, the business owner, whoever it is. The gatekeeper answers the phone, and I say, "Hi, my name is Rick Silva. Could I please speak to the dentist?" What's the call regarding? The call is regarding ABC Dentistry that we've had great success with. And then she's like, confused. She's either going to pass you along because she doesn't understand what you're talking about, or she say, "Could you be more clear?" So yes, I've done business with many other dentists in the area, and I've had great success, and I wanted to tell the dentist about it. So it's just one way to do it. You can edify yourself by telling them you've done some business with other companies in the area, and those other dentists have had great success with it. You'd like to tell the dentist about it. We're starting slow here, guys. This is like the most basic technique. We're going to get to some doozies here soon, but that's just a basic technique. It's called the third-party endorsement technique. Yes, I just did business with XYZ company down the street. They had great success with it. I wanted to tell the dentist about it. This is another way you can word it. You can call, you can say, "Hi, could I please speak to the dentist?" What's it in reference to? ABC company down the street. They'll rarely ever say it, but if they say, "What does that mean?" or I'm not sure what you mean, just say, "Trust me, the dentist will know." So let's say I sell a software program that can help increase a dentist's productivity or any company's productivity. I call, "Hi, could I please speak to John, the business owner?" What's the call regarding? ABC company in San Leandro. What's that? I'm confused. What's that mean? Trust me, John will know. And then just shut up and wait to be transferred. People call, "Oh, I got a software program, and this software program, if he buys it and implements it, it'll increase his productivity by 30%, and it'll do this, and it'll do that, and he'll love it." Click, because you're telling them too much. You've got to edify yourself first. So that's another way to edify yourself. You can say it's in reference to XYZ company down the street. What's that mean? Trust me, he'll know. That's it. Don't talk so much. People make cold calls, they talk too much. We don't have the person's name. Let me check one slide ahead here. Okay. So we don't have the decision maker's name. We still need to find a way to get past the gatekeeper. So what we can do is the first time you call, you can find out their name. And there's ways to do that. You could say, Hi, could I please have the voicemail of the owner? Hi, could I please have the voicemail of the human resources director? Could I please have the voicemail of, and then name the title of the person you want to get on the phone. They're going to screen you if you ask to get them on the phone. The chance of them screening you if you ask for their voicemail goes down by like 90%. Now, generally, when they transfer you to the voicemail, it says, hi, this is Jim. Leave me a message. I'll call you back. Guess what? You just got the decision maker's name. That was the only reason I wanted to get transferred to the voicemail, was to get his name. I have other ways you're going to get his name too, but this is a basic way. Call and ask for their voicemail. Now, when you call back 1 or 2 or 3 days later, you directly ask for him by name because you just got his name. So if you don't have his name, ask for voicemail, or you could do research on the internet, try to find it, but one of the easiest ways is to get transferred to voicemail. Another way to get the decision maker on the phone and get past the gatekeeper is the gatekeepers generally work 9 to 5, 8 to 6, something like that. The decision maker, the big cheese, the busy guy, is there before 8. He's there after 6, and a lot of times he works through lunch. If you can get his direct dial and or at least his name, you got like a 65-70% chance, better chance of getting him on the phone before 8, after 6, or during lunch. It's just a good time to try calling. So when we have the person's name or we don't have their name, we can usually use this one either way. Okay, now this one I kept to myself. I told nobody about this technique. This one's made me hundreds of thousands when I was a recruiter. So this is call the wrong department technique. Call the wrong department technique. Let me explain. If the company's big enough, they'll have an accounting department. They'll have a sales department. This is there's a couple tips and tricks inside of this. Okay, here's the thing. If you cold call a company and you ask directly for, let's just say you want to get a hold of the director of engineering of a company, and you call and ask for the director of engineering, you're going to have a fight to get him on the phone. You're going to have a fight to get him on the phone. Now, if you call and the initial gatekeeper says, hi, XYZ company, and you ask for the accounting department, I have never in my life been screened by a gatekeeper to call the accounting department. I have also never been screened if I've called a company and asked for the sales department. If you call the accounting department and say, hey, can I please have accounting, and they say, what's the call regarding, then you need to tap the phone on the table, go, are you kidding me? And if you call the sales department and they try to screen you, what's the call regarding, again, are you out of your mind? So it's very rare you're going to get your call screened when calling accounting or sales. Now, when you get them on the phone, okay, accounting doesn't have a clue. The sales department has something called sales karma. So I want you to try calling the wrong department and saying, now, we're not going to lie, but let me just tell you this. Gatekeepers are paid liars. Gatekeepers are paid. Now, those of you that have secretaries, you've told your secretary no matter who calls, tell them I'm busy. You're paying them to lie for you. So I am not going to sit here and tell you to lie. We might need to bend it just a little bit. We're going to bend it just a little bit. Okay, here we go. Here's the scripting. You call a company. Now keep in mind, you want to set an appointment with the director of engineering. In this case, the director of engineering. Well, we're not going to get him on the phone calling him directly. We're going to call the company and say, hi, could I please have accounting? Or, hi, could I please have the sales department? And generally, you're going to get transferred right away to one of those two departments. Now, I want to set this up, and then I'm going to kind of role play it real time for you. When accounting answers the phone, they go, accounting. You say, accounting? I meant to call for, or I was hoping to talk to, or I was trying to talk to the director of engineering. If the sales department says, hi, sales, go, oh, I meant to get a hold of the director of engineering. Could you please transfer me? Now, if you're calling accounting and you're not calling to pay a bill, they don't want to talk to you. If you're calling the sales department and you're not calling to buy something, they don't want to talk to you. They'll be more than thrilled to transfer you. So let me kind of role play it here the whole way through. You call, the gatekeeper answers the phone. Hi, XYZ company. Hi, can I please have the accounting department? Sure, no problem. Transfer me to accounting. Hi, accounting. Accounting. I was hoping to talk to the director of engineering. Could you transfer me? Or I'm not sure how I got I don't know how I got accounting. I was hoping to talk to the director of engineering. Oh, yeah, sure, hold on. When you get transferred, I want you to think about this. When you get transferred, look at the screen. When you call the director of engineering directly, there's caller ID. They see that you're calling. When you call accounting or sales or any other department and get transferred, it's an internal transfer. His phone looks different, the display looks different, and it rings differently. I want you to think about that. Call the wrong department technique is a way I outproduced a lot of people that I worked with when they were trying to get the VP of HR on the phone. I just called sales or accounting and had them transfer me, and I got them on the phone a lot more often. So it's called the call the wrong department technique. I hope you liked it. It really works. So then there's the script. Call the company, ask for accounting. Hi, my name's Rick Silva. And they said you were the right person. This is another way to say it. Hi, my name's Rick Silva. And they said you were the right person to talk to about staffing. Oh, no, this is accounting. I don't handle staffing. Oh, I'm sorry to bother you. Who's the right person? And could you please transfer? But before you do, could I get their name? Because they said it was you. Could I get the? Oh, yeah, that's not me. The director of staffing is John Smith. Thank you. I just got his name. So when I get transferred to John Smith, the person in the accounting or sales department just gave me the guy's name and transferred me. I mean, it's set it up on a silver platter for me. Thank you very much. So that's another way you can do it. You just say, they said you're the right person to, and they go, no, no, no. So now they really want to get you off the phone. Then when it gets transferred to John Smith, hey, John, it's Rick Silva. They said you're the right person to talk to about staffing. Yes, I'm great. Can we set up a meeting? That's it. All of you that are listening to the CD now or 10 years from now, a lot of you say, hi, my name's Rick, and I do staffing, and I specialize in this, and I do that, and I want to do this. Click. You said to me earlier, a lot of you typed it on the screen, that the reason you pick up the phone is to set an appointment. Then the only thing we should be discussing is setting an appointment. The decision maker answers the phone. Hi, it's Jim. Jim, Rick Silva. They said you're the person to talk to about staffing. Is that correct? Oh, yes, I am. Fantastic. Could we set up a meeting? You called to set up a meeting. Set up the meeting. Don't talk about all the other stuff. Okay, this is the refer up technique. If you want to get a manager on the phone, call the highest ranking person you can get on the phone. If you want a manager, call the VP. If you want a director, call the senior VP. If you want a VP, call the CEO. It's called the refer up. What we do is we call somebody much higher level than we need. That person says, no, that's not, no, that's Sally handles that. Call Sally. I call Sally. I make very clear what we're talking about here. If you're looking at the screen, just listen for a second. We're going to call the wrong person. He's higher ranking. And in this case, let's say Jim is going to say call Sally. When I call Sally, the script on the bottom is what I'm going to use. Hi, Sally. The reason I'm calling you is I just talked to your boss, Jim. He suggested I give you a call to set up an appointment. Would you happen to have your calendar handy? That's it. That's the whole script done. So in the staffing world, I would call the most high-ranking guy I could and say, hey, Jim, my name's Rick Silva, blah, blah, blah. I do staffing. Once I get him on the phone, I'll tell him, I do staffing, love to set an appointment. You know what, Rick? I don't handle the staffing. Sally handles the staffing. Jim, no problem at all. Could you transfer me? Sometimes they will. Sometimes they won't. Call back. The company answers the phone. XYZ company. Hi, can I please speak to Sally? What's the call regarding? Well, Jim, the senior VP of the company, told me to call her. Now, here's the beauty of it. I called Jim to try to get an appointment with him for staffing. He said call Sally. When I call back, I say, hi, I'd like to talk to Sally. What's the call regarding? Well, Jim, the senior VP of the company, told me to call her. I'll put you right through, sir. Hi, this is Sally. Hi, Sally. The reason I'm calling you today is I just talked to your boss, Jim, and he suggested I give you a call to set up an appointment. Would you happen to have your calendar handy? Yes, she's going to be flustered. Yes, she's going to go, I guess so. What's the call regarding? Well, you know, Sally, I was talking to Jim, and I work for a staffing firm, and he thought I should talk to you about that. Would you happen to have your calendar handy? I close again on the appointment. Well, you know, we're pretty good right now. No, but I just talked to Jim, and he said you were the person to talk to. So I'd love to get a chance to set an appointment. Would you happen to have your calendar handy? I close again on the appointment until I get it. Okay? That's why you called. Now, there's other things you can do. You don't have to even get an appointment or try to sell anything at all. You could call a company, and that you're only going to understand what I'm about to say if you've done your elevator speech. You haven't done your elevator speech, you're not going to get this. You can part 2 and 4 them of your 60-second introduction. You can call and just say, we specialize in this and this. Have you heard other companies say, boy, I wish we had this software, or my goodness, our employees are just not productive enough. Have you heard other business owners say that? If so, I'd love to talk to them. And you're actually cold calling for leads and referrals. It's just a beautiful, beautiful script. This screen, this what I just said, you gotta get the recording of this on CD number 8 and play it over and over to really understand how easy yet powerful that is. Just call them in part 2 and 4 them of your elevator speech. Here's a really nice script here. You have the decision maker on the phone, and you don't have a refer up technique where their boss didn't tell you to call, but you finally got the decision maker on the phone. And Warren, the machine, Bosheen, is on my webinar today, so I'm going to use Warren as an example. Hi, Warren. This is Rick Silva with XYZ Company. The reason for my call today is to set an appointment so I can, and then you need to part 3 them of your elevator speech, which are the benefits. Hi, Warren. This is Rick Silva with XYZ Company. The reason for my call today is to set an appointment so I can show you how I can save you money, reduce your stress, make your life easier. Warren, I'm sure you, like many of my clients, would want to have less stress, make more money, and have more freedom and spend more time with your new grandkid. Shut up. If they say yes, I'm interested, great. Do you have your calendar handy? That's it. But it's benefit laden. Hi, Warren. My name is Rick Silva with XYZ Company. The reason for my call is to set an appointment with you so I can help you make more money, reduce your stress, give you more free time. Warren, I'm sure you, like many of my other clients, would love to have that. Isn't that true? Yeah, sure. Great. Do you have your calendar handy? That's it. There's a whole appointment setting script for the decision maker. It's no more difficult than that. But you have got to, again, right here, you have to know the part 3s of your elevator speech. And if you've done it, you know what I'm talking about. All right. It's not always going to be, let me go back up here. I know what you're all saying when you look at this. He's not just going to go, yeah, I'm interested. That's very rare, very rare. But we also know what the basic objections are, so let's talk about those. These are the types of things that when you're cold calling, these people are going to say. Hey, Warren, my name is Rick Silva with XYZ Company. I specialize in blah, blah, blah. I can help you, blah, 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 blah. Warren, I'm sure you, like a lot of my other clients, would like to have more blah, 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 blah. Now, instead of Warren saying, yes, I'd like to meet with you, you know, Rick, I'm all set. You know, Rick, I already have insurance. I'm good. No, you know, Rick, I've heard about your products before and they cost too much. No, I'm just not interested. No, I already have a real estate agent or whatever it is you do. No, I already got it. I'm good. I'm good. Now, what we need to do is we need to come up with a way to overcome this initial objection and still set the appointment. So we're going to do something called put the foot down or anchor on the first negative. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to role play this script for you. And then Warren's not going to be interested in meeting me, and I'm going to go to the anchor script. Hi, Warren. This is Rick Silva with XYZ Company. The reason for my call today is to set an appointment with you so I can show you how my company can help you save money and reduce stress. Let's keep it easy. And Warren, I'm sure you, like many of my other clients, would love to make more money and have reduced stress. Isn't that true? Yeah, you know, Rick, yeah, it's true, but I'm all set. I already have it. It costs too much. I'm just not interested. You know, Warren, many of my clients, many of the other people that have done business with me told me the exact same thing until and or before they had a chance to see how our program matched or improved or complemented what they're already doing. So what we do, if we look over here, you already have insurance. I can show you how ours matches or complements that. Your products cost too much. You know what, Warren? Every person I've ever sold to told me the exact same thing, that my products cost too much. And until they had a chance to see how it would really help them make more money and reduce their stress. Would you happen to have a calendar handy? I love doing this. I hope that sounded as smooth as it feels, because this stuff really, really works. This is called the anchor technique. Anything somebody says to you, it costs too much. You know, every single client I've ever sold to told me the exact same thing. I already have it. You know, every client I've ever talked to told me the exact same thing. I already have insurance. Every client I've ever sold to told me the exact same thing. before they had a chance to see how our program really improved what they currently have. No matter what they say, every client I've ever sold to told me the exact same thing. We still need to anticipate. I'm really busy now. Call me back later. And I got one other one, the dreaded mail me information. Let's talk about these two real quick. I'm really busy now. Can you call me back later? We're going to do something called the ledge. He's trying to push you off a cliff. We're going to put our foot down, and we're going to stop him from pushing us off the ledge. Hey, Warren, my name is Rick Silva. Blah, 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 blah. Rick, I'm really busy now. Rick, can you call me back later? You know, Warren, I was just calling for an appointment. Do you have your calendar handy? We could set an appointment in 20 seconds. That's it. You called for an appointment. Close on the appointment. They're saying I'm really busy now because they don't want to talk to you. They say call me back later because they don't want to talk to you. Guess what? If you're calling to set an appointment, I want you to be honest. If you're calling to set an appointment, do you right now, honestly, do you want to talk to them? The answer is no. When I cold call someone and I'm trying to get an appointment, I want to set an appointment and hang up the phone. So I don't want to talk to him either. I don't want to call back. I'm busy too. So, you know, Rick, I'm really busy now. You know, Warren, I was just calling to set an appointment. Would you happen to have your calendar handy? If you're closing and calling for appointments, close for his calendar. Okay? People talk too much when they call. Ask him if he has his calendar handy. Here's the dreaded mail me information, which I will never do. This is the dreaded mail me information. You know, Warren, I'd really prefer not mailing anything. Can we meet face-to-face? Would you happen to have your calendar handy? Close on the appointment. You know, Warren, I really don't like mailing things. I prefer talking to you face-to-face. Would you happen to have your calendar handy? Now, some people say, Rick, I don't meet face-to-face. I do it all on the phone. Yeah, but you're not going to do a whole sales presentation right now. You still need to get his calendar open. This is called the let them off the hook script. I use this one a lot. So when I did staffing, I called HR managers all day long, and they don't want to talk to people that do recruiting. They get called by 50 of them a day. So it'd be Sally. Hi, Sally. It's Rick Silva with XYZ Staffing. I just want to get you a raise with your company. Most people call, hey, Sally, you have any recs I can work? You have any open jobs I can help you fill? That's what I really want, but just be different. Hey, Sally, it's Rick with ABC Staffing. I just want to get you a raise with your company. Or, Sally, I know you get a lot of calls from recruiters like me, and I want to tell you how you can keep me from ever calling you again. Give me one shot. Give me one shot at an open position. If I don't wow you with how good of a job I do, I'll never call you again. How's that sound? And I've had people go, I'll give you a job to work just so you don't call me anymore. So what you could do is you could use this. People, if you sell insurance, people go, you know, insurance agents call me all the time. You could say something like, let me review your policies. If I cannot wow you with my proposal, I will never call you again. Done. Do you have your calendar handy? Ah! You want to get an appointment? Close for the appointment only. Okay, this is another one. Sometimes they say, call me back in 3 weeks, or call me back in 3 months, or call me back in 6 months. They call me back in 3 months. When you call them back, if somebody says, call me back in 3 months, when you call them back, hey, Sally, it's Rick Silva with XYZ Staffing. The reason for my call today is when we spoke 3 months ago, you suggested I call you today to set an appointment for us to get together. Do you have your calendar handy? If the person says, you know what, call me back in 2 weeks, and if that's the best you can get out of them, then don't call them back in 2 weeks. Call them back in 10 days. They won't know the difference. If they say call back in 3 months, I'll call them back in 2.5 months. They won't know the difference. Hey, Sally, it's Rick Silva with XYZ Company. I spoke to you 2 weeks ago. You told me to call you back today to set an appointment. Would you happen to have your calendar handy? Done. Then shut up. People talk too much when they cold call. This is edification again, and how we can edify ourselves to try to get in with somebody. So we had success with another company or in another department of their company. Hi, Sally. My name is Rick Silva with XYZ Company. The reason for my call today is we just completed a very successful product with one of your apartments in another building with XYZ Company down the street. It was unbelievably successful in showing them how to save money, reduce stress, reduce their payroll, make their insurance costs go down, whatever it is. What I'd like to do is set an appointment to come by and tell you about the success we had working with them. Would you happen to have your calendar handy? What you're also doing is telling them other companies are killing it with this. You want to come by and show them what you did for them. So I'm not technically trying to sell you anything. I just want to show you what I've done for other companies. Really, really, really powerful. Really cool. Again, hi Sally, my name is Rick, so with XYZ Company. The reason for my call today is we just completed a very successful insurance project with XYZ Company down the street. It was so successful, I'd love to come by, set an appointment with you and come by and show you why it was so successful. Would you happen to have your calendar handy? Here's another one. This could be for new products. It's another cool one to use. Hey Sally, my name is Rick, so with XYZ Company. The reason for my call today is that we just introduced a variety of new products that a lot of companies in your area, a lot of companies just like yours, a lot of your competitors are taking advantage of and finding to be very, very successful. What I'd like to do is set an appointment to come by and tell you about the success I've had with these other companies. Do you have your calendar handy? Now, whatever it is for you, we got commercial real estate on the line, we got insurance, bookkeeping. If you've done work for other companies in the area, you can call up and go, hi, my name is Rick Silva with XYZ Company. The reason why I call it is we just introduced or just developed new ways companies like yours could invest in real estate and really increase the bottom line. What I'd like to do is come by and show you what some of these other companies are doing to increase their bottom line through commercial real estate. Would you happen to have your calendar handy? Just got to plug what you do in there. Let's talk about leaving a voicemail, and this is a little tricky, leaving a voicemail. So here's the trick. You got to leave it a little differently, okay? This is if you want to get your call returned. So you go, hi, Sally. This is Rick Silva with XYZ Company. My phone number is 510-755-4556, 510-755-4556. They said you were the person to talk to. Did you guys notice I hit the mute button and you didn't hear me anymore? Because I hung up on myself. So what you do is you leave your name and your company name and your phone number, and then you hang up the phone in mid-talk, in mid-sentence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it again, and as I'm speaking, when you hear me stop talking, it's because I hit the mute button. Just hang up on yourself. They'll want to call you back to find out what you were going to say. Trust me, this works unbelievably well. Let's do it again. When you hear me stop talking, that's when I hung up the phone. Hey, Phil. It's Rick Silva with XYZ Company. My phone number, 510-755-4556. They said you were the person to talk. And you hang up on yourself. Pretty cool. The trick is you got to give your name, your company name, and your phone number before you hang up on yourself. Paula, it works. I promise. It works. They want to know. They said I was the person. What? Your action items for today. So your action items are write your scripts, listen to the recording, CD number 8, and you can pause it in between each one of these. You got to have your scripts. Every single thing I covered with you today should be on pieces of paper on your desk where your phone is. I would never pick up the phone without scripts in front of me. Next week, we talk about the law of increasing returns. We talk about the referral process and how to refer business. But thank you for being on the 8th in the series of 12 webinars in the Science of Business Networking.